Hey guys, it's Avenger, welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at a little GA slash ultralight aircraft that has always actually been one of my favourites. This is the Tecnam P92. Now this is the Echo model, and this has been released by Aerosachs on some market, and I believe one or two other places eventually. There might be some others I've not seen, but I know it's there. Now, this is €24 in price, and from what I've seen, Aerosachs appears to be an Italian general aviation VA of sorts, or flying club. And they note in the actual description of the release that this has been made by Aerosam. Now, I can't tell you for sure whether this has been made by Aerosam. In fact, let's get ourselves out of there. I can't tell if it's been made by Aerosam or it's been made by Aerosachs, but it may have been made for Aerosachs and it's been released under their name. So without further ado, let's take a little look. Wow, okay, this is probably the most confined space ever to do a fly around, but we'll do our best. As I plug my headset in. Okay, let's have a quick look at this thing, shall we? So, from first impressions, external 3D texturing is good. I like the little bits of detail in the metal of the aircraft surface. Now, the Tecnam P92 is made by Tecnam in Capua, Italy, which is exactly where we are right now, at Capua Airport. Lima India Alpha Uniform, which is in the Caserta province, or Caserta province, I should say, in southern Italy. Now, okay, it's not exactly a lot of complicated stuff to texture here, so it looks decent enough. Maybe the surface is a little gritty, I'll be honest, because that looks like it's been carved out of stone. So whatever texture they used to add some noise to the template might have been a bit heavy, but it adds a bit of surface detail, but perhaps the wrong kind. As you can see on the wing, it looks reasonable, but it also looks a bit heavily pitted. The tail surface detail was good, because you have smooth patches and you have a little bit of noise. Now, those rear windows look a little bit low poly. There's edges going on there. And I think I can see a gap around that one. It's definitely ambient occlusion has left a jagged line, which you can clean up by hand. Don't think it was. There's a bit of a lip there on the dazzle panel. In fact, that's not exactly straight at all. Okay. Now, this comes with two liveries. This and one for the Aerosachs Club. So it's not exactly got a lot of liveries. Let's hop inside and take a look around, shall we? So, the virtual cockpit at first look is reasonable. But, I will say... Oh, we have our tank controls there. So, I know we have hotkeys. Oh, high co-pilot, we have high glass, and we have... I thought there was another one there. It indicated there were maybe 3. I could be completely wrong. I might be. At first glance, it's not awful, but it does look a little FSX. Notice the low poly edges around that, and the flatness of some of these edges and textures where this has been the tiled texture used. See, the carpet looks really good. It's often that you don't really get very good looking kind of artificial synthetic carpet style materialing. That looks reasonable, but the seat edges there are a little bit glaring. Bit of a lack of detail, so that's graded horribly. I would have expected more for this price, and I can't even open the windows or doors. Oh no, we can open the door. I don't know how I opened the door, but I opened the door. Apparently clicking the handle opens the door. Yep, okay, we've got doors. I will give them a reward point on that at least. Now, this has been modelled apparently based on Tecnam's own performance specifications, so we're going to find that out today. So we have our power already on, and my mags are set. This was just because that's how my controller loaded up. So let's make sure everything is ready here. And this is running a Rotax 912 with 100 horsepower, and this is the P92 Echo Classic. Now, the design originated in the 1960s, as we should be good to start our engine here. Make sure our parking brake is set to on. Yeah, back is on for the brake. So, clear prop. bit of throttle and she will start. Okay. So obviously we don't have a condition, we don't have a prop for this, we just have the throttle. It's a Rotax engine. Now, it cruises at about 110 knots and it can stall about 38 dirty with flaps. Range of 430 miles. And we have, I do like the area GPS, it's a nice addition for a small aircraft like this. Endurance of 4.5 hours. And this, well, I said the design dated from the 60s. It first flew on March 14th, 1993, and they're still in production. Now, we know Ant made one, and I believe his was the Eaglet version, which has the upturned wingtips. But let's take this girl out for a fly and see if she's got any redeeming qualities in that regard, because so far, I'm not entirely enthused by this aircraft. The texture quality could be far better. Given the price they're asking, €4, given what we get for that price at this point in the sim, that is a lot to ask, I think, for this. Considerably more than I would expect. If this had been a €15 aircraft, I could almost say, yeah, not bad. And, okay, I'm criticising it before I fly it, but whilst things function well, it definitely looks like this has been ported from FSX or done in that era. Should probably taxi it along there rather than across the grass, but everything else is grass, so what's the difference, you know? Let's get ourselves lined up here. We'll take off with no flaps. Now we're expecting about a 450 feet takeoff and a 328 foot landing, so we'll see what we can do here. Okay. There we go, line ourselves up as we get the throttle on. Okay. Airspeed's alive. Very rutted grass runway here. And we can ease her off the runway now. Whoa, there we go. I was trying to pull her up a lot earlier than I wanted to, I think. I wanted to see how quickly we could get it off the ground, rather than how quickly you should get it off the ground. That Rotax really does bite quite well at the air. And that was no flaps, by the way, so I was getting her, hauling her up there. See just how quickly she'd leave the surface. So, does it fly well? Well, it flies like I'd expect a Rotax aircraft to fly. The sounds aren't awful. Not bad at all, but they sound a little on the flatter side, maybe? Might be what I'd suggest there. That doesn't sound like a Rotax, actually, on the outside. It sounds way too trilly. Rotaxes often have more of a sound to them. Yes, I'll make that noise again. Do with that what you will. It's just missing a bit of that shrillness of the pitch, I think. Okay, there's the airport back there. So we'll roll around to the left here. Flight handling is sedate, it's mild. At least this bar in front of me is not awful to look at. It's could be better, but like that's very polygony. Yeah, I'm gonna say the price I believe is unreasonable for what you're getting here. The only manual included with the aircraft is the actual Tecnam P92 manual. You do not get a specific one from the developer regarding details about it or specific functions and features. The only way I knew about the click spots there on the panel were that there was a picture on the shop page. Now we have got some apparently that does nothing, so they may be non-functional. So our battery there, of course, that's our fuel pump switch, which is quite black compared to the sides of the switch, which are more grey. So we've got two sets of throttle, one here, one here. Carb heat there. The radios are the stock sim ones, that's stock from the sim. Simple stock sim functions. Same with the ELT. Did I just hear a meow in my office? I think I might have done. Let's try and open this door and fly it, shall we? It doesn't wish to. Where's the door handle? No sound difference at all. So that's a negative point for it. They open, which I do like some of the more advanced aircraft we're getting recently where that cannot work. You cannot open the door in flight because of the airflow, which is realistic. This does not go with that, apparently. It's not a bad looking plane, but considering the Ant will most likely race his Eaglet for this sim, I know that will smoke this release completely. Ant's aircraft are fantastic. If we weren't likely to get a P92, this would be okay if it was half the price. And I think that's my biggest issue here is, no matter how accurate you make the flight dynamics, it's not the best looking plane. Has it got the functions? Yes. The functions do appear good. Let's see how she behaves in stall conditions, actually, before we turn back towards the runway. Throttling back, we're clean here for a stall. Pull the yoke back. Just seems to squish and mush, which is realistic for a high square wing. Yeah, it's just mushing. Okay, that's realistic for how it should behave. Okay, the sound isn't awful on the inside. Now I'm hearing more of it. The outside sound doesn't sound as good. The cockpit sounds better, I think. Right, where's our runway here? That is our airfield in front of us. Where is the runway? Nice part of Italy, I will say. I'm assuming that's Tecnam's factory there. In fact, this was until 1943 the home of Italy's Aeronautical Academy. So there is that. Right. Am I looking at the wrong patch of field? No, there's the runway. I'm just blind, or that's a highway. Did we lose the airport? We lost the airport. That is a great start to all of these things. Okay, no, it's off our 11 o'clock. So we did fly up for a minute, I think. There it is. I see it now. Okay, we're good. I see it now. We'll eschew the traditional pattern for an entry here where we can just bring the aircraft in. Yes, given the pictures and how it looked, I was more hopeful. It does appear this was made for that group. How that plays out for other users, I'm not sure. But it does come with the manuals in both Italian and English, if that's a consideration for you. And the instruments do appear to work relatively well. The aircraft does behave well. But I'm not sure if it's worth that, minus other features. Now, if this was this price with a full tablet controlling systems and realism options, it's still a struggle for what is essentially a very simple aircraft to really meet that metric. Let's roll around here. We'll bring her in as slowly as we can for a full stop landing here. 38 knots is our stall speed, so we want to watch that. This should be able to land very slow. Okay, we're just about 43, 44. You can even see if you look at the cowl tip, there's a sharp point where there shouldn't be one. That should be round, but that's a polygon from a lower poly model. So I'm thinking this is a older aircraft that was modelled in a previous sim that's been updated and refreshed for MSFS. I do not believe this is a full native build, and if it is, I would expect a lot more. So, price definitely not worthwhile here. I bought this from my own pocket, by the way, so the hit's there for me. Okay. go. And she lands very short. Okay, not bad. We'll take her around for one quick more go because I feel like we could give it a chance. Let's make things a little asymmetric and see how she behaves. There we go, we're off the ground. A little bit of a squeak of the saw horn. Let's push the nose down, build some airspeed before we start climbing. Okay, we have that. So it's a fun little flyer, I'll give it that. It is a fun aircraft to actually fly. But is it 24 euros worth of fun? I don't know. And it's the first time I've seen an aircraft labelled by as a manufacturer as a VA or Virtual Flying Club, made by somebody else, released by the Virtual Flying Club. And if it's some sort of way of generating income for the club, for server costs, or for costs of some kind, fair enough, but this is available to the general public, so there's an element of expectations, especially with this sim. And we've seen our ballpark of around 20, 25 being the high-end stuff now. Obviously, the noob tube pilots and their toys are running around 60, 70, 80 euros. Hey, we've even got the early access meme of the E-Jet, which I was going to review, but at the same time, I'm not a jet pilot, so I can't criticize it, even though I want to for being a hodgepodge early release, which doesn't make any sense that it's missing all these functions. Just wait to release it then. Why release it without functions? That makes no sense. Okay, bring it around here and put it back into land. We'll make things a bit more asymmetric this time and see what we can do. But this price at this point in time is reserved for the higher end products. The texture quality inside this is distinctly FSX. In fact, the model and texture quality is distinctly FSX, which is not what I would expect. Not at all. Okay, there we are. Let's see how short we can stop on this one. There's the runway. Let's get the speed brought down. We need to kill this before we actually do anything stupid here. Extending full flaps. You're going to hear stall horn. I warn you now, if you're triggered by that, don't worry about it. She slips okay, but she sinks a lot. She slips alright, but yeah, she really sinks. Let's throw her the other way here. Whoa, that's a big nose drop. Okay. Okay. It's a lot of nose drop there. Let's get my head up here. We're using throttle to kind of change our aim point here. I'm deliberately trying to get as slow as possible for this. Keeping the wing angle above 0. There's my reference point. Flaps up. That's not bad at all. Considering we touched down... Hello, camera angle. Yeah, we touched down at the 3 cones. And we landed here. I'd say it's about 150 feet. I'll take it. So what do we think of this? Price is excessive. Texture quality and modelling are subpar. Flight behaviour feels decently unique. It doesn't feel like a stock aircraft. It doesn't feel like the existing LSAs that are in. And I'll give it that. It does behave interestingly, but I don't know if that could save it for me. The texture quality is low, and the model poly count is low, which means it has fantastic sim performance if you struggle with that. Fantastic sim performance because it's basically using no resources. But yeah, otherwise really not thinking this is a great option. It's not bad. Like, I can see there's been effort gone into this, but I don't think this is the right price point to put it into. If you were to price this a lot lower, my criticism would be different. If you're going to price yourself into the same market as the likes of Blackbird, the likes of Coronado, which again, putting Coronado and Blackbird together is a horrible comparison, but we're talking a similar price point. Coronado on the visuals, Blackbird visuals and performance and simulation systems. You put yourself up there with SimWorks, of course. Sorry, I had a brain moment. You are expecting a lot more, and I will criticize the product a lot more because it is fighting in a battlefield where it doesn't necessarily belong. Like I said, if this was in the lower price point, the 15, the 10, where I think it would be justified, we'd be having a different conversation here. It's a nice little airport, by the way. If you do fancy this little place, I will link it in the description. It's even a Chinook over there. As you do. But no, if you like this, go ahead. I think this is a skip, personally. I will wait for Ant to release his eaglet, which will be a stunner. And actually perform a little better, too, technically. Has better specs. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.